Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Zoom training or Canvas training session 1, hosted in Zoom. Hopefully, we'll have a good time today. Just some housekeeping items before we get started. If you have questions during the training, feel free to ask them. There's the chat button down at the bottom. I just ask that if you chat, in the to field in the chat box, you select all panelists and attendees. That way, if there's any crossover of questions, we don't have people stepping on each other's toes for the questions, and I can answer them easily. Otherwise, just feel free to ask questions as you have them. I will stop for some dedicated Q&A at some major points in the training. So if you do have questions, then feel free to ask them. But also, if you think of them, don't hesitate to type them in. So let's get started here. I'll give you just kind of an overview of the Canvas trainings as they'll progress. So we're in session 1 right now. Session 1 is kind of an overview of Canvas navigation, and it will cover a lot of different things under the global navigation and some more specific things that you would see there. And then sessions 2 through 4 will cover mostly course information. So how to build a course, assignments, quizzes, grading, and so on will be sessions 2 through 4. And session 1, again, just an overview. So what are the specifics in session 1? Global navigation. We'll go through some course navigation and course settings and how to set your course homepage. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I have a web browser open right here, and we're on the Swibbits homepage. And to get to Canvas, all you need to do is type in swibbits.instructure.com. Now, don't be fooled here. It's not instructor, it's instructure. So they have spelled it differently, but you want to make sure that you spell it for the company's name, not for the title, and .com. Once you hit enter, you'll be taken to a landing page here for Southwestern's single sign-on. So with the moved to Canvas, there will be there's an implementation of single sign-on, which means that your login will be the same as your network or Office 365 login. So you don't have to keep up with a different username and password for Blackboard like we did with Blackboard with Canvas. You will have one email and password for your Office 365. For Canvas, WebAdvisor is moving to this. So it's hopefully going to help you in keeping track of all your usernames and passwords. So to log into Canvas, you'll just type in your seminary email and then your seminary email password. So I'm going to be using a test instructor. I'll log in here. Oops. Let's see. There we go. And then once you're logged into Canvas, you'll be presented with the dashboard. And I'll be going over off on the left-hand side here all of these different features and then going into detail what each one does. But when you log in, you'll be presented with the dashboard, which is just an overview of your courses and what is going on in them. So in the center here, you will see the course card information. So I have 2 courses right here. And then off to the right-hand side, there's the sidebar, which contains information as to-do information, which currently has some assignments that need grading, so I can easily come in and click to grade an assignment if I need to. And then it also has some assignments that are coming up for people to participate in the course. So it's just a nice little overview of what is going on in all my courses at this moment. Let's go ahead and get into some detail here. For the course cards, these are all your favorited courses. I'll go over how to favorite and unfavorite courses when we get to the course button. But your favorited courses will show up here, and they will be in a card view with a picture and a name and so on and so forth. And this is will have a more specific overview of what this course is, what is happening in this course. So, for example, I've got Cody's course right here. Then this is the course ID. And then down at the bottom, I've got icons indicating notifications based off of the type of notification. So there's 8 announcements in this course that have been unread. There's no assignments that need to be done or that are new. Then there's 11 discussions that have to be viewed. Those are the unread. And then there's files that are new. So as things happen in your course, you may see notifications just like you would on a phone for specific apps down here at the bottom. If your course is associated with a term, which most of them will be, you'll also have the term information. So underneath the ID, you'll have the term. Now, there are also a couple other items that you can change, such as this color right here. If you come to the settings for that individual card, you'll be able to choose a different color. And click apply, and that will change the color for the card. You can also nickname the course. So if you want to nickname the course, you can come in and type in a special nickname. This will not change the course name for your students. So if you're wanting to change your course name from that really long course ID and name to just a name, you'll do that in the course settings. I'll cover that a little later in this session. But this nickname is just for you to see what is this course is. There's another tab here. You can click Move, and this will reorder your course cards. So if you want to move this card to the top or move it up, you can. If this was at the top, you can move it to the bottom or move down. And then here you can also unfavorite the course. So if you're unfavoriting the course, that will remove it from your dashboard. If you do know anything about hex codes and want to have a more special custom color, you can come in here and change the hex code as well. One other thing with this view, you can change this view from a card view to a recent activity view. And that will show you all the activities that are going on in your courses, much like the card view would, except for this will break it down into category and then show all your courses. Move back to card view real quick. The default for the course cards is a color overlay. If you have an image, this may not look very nice, so you can come in and uncheck color overlay to take off that color and just view the image. Moving to the sidebar, we have, again, the to-do area, and these will contain assignments that need to be graded. Students will see assignments that need to be completed at a specific point in time. So it will have the name of the assignment or the item to do, the course it's from, and some other information as far as the due date and points available. As professors, you can easily come in and click this assignment, and it will take you to SpeedGrader, where you can grade the assignments. We'll go over SpeedGrader in a later session. And then down further, you'll see the coming up, which is just pulling from your calendar for your courses and from your user. So you can come in and see what is going on, and you can click right to that assignment or item. There's two other buttons down here, and you can view your grades of your classes quickly right here. That will give you an overview of what is going on grade-wise in each of your classes. And then there's a start a new course. So something different with Canvas that we're doing is we're giving you the ability to create your own courses. Now, these courses that you create will not be used for enrollment. So if you're wanting to create a course and build it out and expect that to be for enrollment, that's not going to be the case, but you can still create a course, build it out, and then when Campus Technology creates the course shells for Canvas for that coming term, you can then import that content into that course shell. So, for example, if you have a standard course that you teach, say New Testament 1, every fall, you can come in, create a course, fill out that course with all your New Testament 1 information, and then whenever your New Testament 1 course rolls around each fall, just import that content into that enrollment course, and then everything is right there, and you can operate in that enrollment course. So this is very handy if you're wanting to pre-build courses. So next spring, maybe you know that you're going to be teaching an elective that you need to build out. You can come in and build that elective out. And you can also be a little creative. Say you want to dream up a course that you might want to teach someday. You can come in and build that course out so that you can show something to the dean, say this is how this course would look, so on and so forth. So I really like that we've added that feature. There's also a way to do that in courses. Before I move on, are there any questions on the dashboard? Okay, I don't see anything. Let's go ahead and move on to courses. When I click on the courses button, a little side pane will open up, and that will contain all my favorited courses right here. And that's really handy if you're in some other part of the Canvas site. You can, let's say if you're in your calendar and you quickly want to go to a course, you can click courses and click your favorited course. If it's not favorited, you can go to all courses, and that will take you to a summary of all of the courses that you've taught previously, your future courses that you will teach, and your current enrollment. There's also a section for groups that you're a part of. So that's this page right here. Right here, you can also come in and create a course. So you can give it a name, and this is how you would build out one of those courses so that you can build out your content and import it. That's how you would create a course. And then you can see these groups here are broken into the current enrollments, past enrollments, future enrollments, and then there's an area for groups. If you've unfavorited a course from your dashboard, you can come in and favorite that again. So I've got a duplicate course right here for Cody's course. I can come in and favorite that course by clicking the star. If you have any past enrollments and you have unfavorited it, you cannot come in and favorite it again. So that can be kind of cumbersome if you're wanting to get an old course favorited again. So you won't be able to do that here. Then future enrollments. This is a future enrollment for fall 2020. Right now, I cannot click on this link and go into the course and start building. That's because the courses will open up when enrollment opens, and then you can come in and create the course. So fall 2020 will open up on April 13th, and then you can go in and actually create the course. Other items that are here, you can quickly see the nickname of the course, the term, what you're enrolled as. So if you have multiple roles at the institution, maybe you're a student and a TA, you will see the role in which you are enrolled in the course. And then you can see if the course is published or not. Down at the bottom, you can see my groups or example groups. If you aren't in any groups, you won't see this heading. And if you aren't in any groups, you won't see the groups button off to the left-hand side. So this is a simple area that contains any institutional groups that have been created, as well as any student groups that students are a part of. So if you create groups in your Canvas course, your students will see those groups under My Groups. All right, any questions on courses? Okay, I don't see anything. Let's go ahead and move on to groups. Groups is very similar to courses. If I click this, a little pane will open up and show me all my groups or favorited groups. And I can click in and easily go to that group, or I can see all groups, much like the courses page. Again, if you're not in a group, you won't see this button. But if you are, you'll be able to click it very similarly to groups. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the calendar since groups is fairly simple. The calendar is very much like a regular calendar that you would use, probably like an Outlook, or if you use Google Calendar. You've got the main calendar right here with the appointments or items on each day. You can quickly navigate to today by clicking the Today button. You can navigate months by clicking these arrows, and you can change your view, week, month, agenda view over there, and you can quickly add an item right here. Each course will have its own calendar, and any assignments that you create and that have due dates will be associated with that calendar. So, for example, I've got Cody's course right here. If I uncheck that, all of my assignments that I've created for that course will disappear. They won't disappear on anybody else other than your screen. This is just a view button, and then I can view them again if I want to. So if you've got multiple courses, you will see that option right here. So you can click and see only one course that you want to, and it can be very helpful. You also have a calendar for your individual account as well. Up at the top right, there's also a calendar overview that you can navigate and go through and see at a higher level just kind of what each month is without changing this major month here. The calendar is very helpful. I think it's one of the best tools that Canvas has. So for example, I've got this quiz right here. That's an item. And what's really great about this is maybe this quiz right here, I want to move back a day. So maybe something happened on Thursday and I just need to move it to Friday. I can easily click and drag that quiz to Friday. And now anywhere where that quiz shows up, it will change the date. It will also send a notification to students saying that the date has changed, and anywhere that it is located, it's been adjusted. So if you take advantage of the course summary in the syllabus in the course, you will see that change in the course summary as well. So that is very helpful, especially when you're organizing assignments. And then also, if you have any undated assignments in a course, so if I click here, I've got undated attendance. I can come in and pull that attendance and assign it to a specific day if I want to. So one workflow possibility is to create all your assignments without giving them dates in your course. Come into the calendar where you can see kind of a larger view of what's going on in your course, maybe what work load your students have, and you can come in and adjust those very easily. There's also a calendar feed, so you cannot put your Outlook calendar into Canvas. You can get your Canvas calendar in your Outlook. So if you click on calendar feed, you can get the link that you need when creating a new calendar in Outlook. And this will allow you to subscribe to this calendar. So I won't go through that whole process, but that is an option. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to adding new events. So if I click add new event, I can easily add an event, which would be more like, say, an appointment. It wouldn't be necessarily anything due for the students or anything graded. I can also add an assignment if I want to. So if you're thinking, oh, I need to add this assignment, let me just go to the calendar and add it quickly so that students can see it on a due date, and I'll fill in the information later. You can come in and do that. And then there's also appointment groups. You can think of appointment groups as kind of like office hours. It's very easy to set up, and I find it very helpful. So if I do, let's see, example office hours, I can come in and name it. I can give the location of my office, F4C. And then I can select which calendars it will be added to. So I've just got one course right here selected, and that's only because I only have one course in view. So let me go ahead and cancel and show you what it would look like if I had multiple courses. Let's go ahead and go back to add an appointment group. Example, appointment group F4C. If I go to select calendars, I can now add this appointment group to both classes regardless of enrollment. So if your office hours are on Thursdays from 2 to 4, you can come in and set those office hours for all of your courses. If you have student groups, you can have them sign up in groups. Over here under options, you can limit time slots to a certain number of users. So if you only want up to 2 people to sign up per slot, you can come in and change that, or 1. And then you can also allow or disallow students to see who have signed up for that specific slot. And if you have students that want to sign up for all the slots, you can limit them to only have 1 or 2 appointments. You can set this number as well. When you actually go to break up the groups, you can come up to the date and time range area where you will see the date and time that you can select. So I said, let's say Thursdays from 2 to 4. You don't have to type in the full time here. Simply typing in 2 brings up automatically. Canvas is going to read this as 2 p.m. So I can come in and say 2 to 4 on Thursday. And let's say next week as well, I want 2 to 4. And you can keep adding different days if you want to. And let's say I only want students to meet with me for 15 minutes. Anything more than that, and they need to come back later. So I can divide each slot into 15 minutes. Once I click go, that will divide these times into different slots. And then once I'm done, I can click publish. And now for both those classes, students are available to sign up for appointments. So you can see right here, I've got my appointment groups set up for this week and next week. and if a student was to sign up for them, it would highlight, and you would be able to tell who signed up for what appointment. So I find that very helpful, and can be very useful for organizing your calendar. Okay, so that's it for calendar. Do I have any questions at this point over this? Great. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Inbox. So when you see Inbox, you may be thinking to yourself, great, there's another thing that I have to keep track of, another way that students can send messages to me and not be able to be answered quickly or something like that. Really, the Inbox is basically the same as another email. However, it's set up in such a way that you won't have to monitor it if you don't want to. So, for example, I've got this message from Priscilla asking a question about the final. This she sent to me in Canvas and sent a message and said, hey, I have a question about the final. Well, I've got my email set up, and it's defaulted this way. So if you receive an email basically in Canvas, you will also receive an email in your Outlook account. So I've got another tab up here to demonstrate. So I've got my mail, and if I go here, I've got that email from Priscilla. So I can click in and I can see that message right here saying that she had a question about the final. Will it be comprehensive? Well, I can easily just click in and reply to this email without having to go to Canvas and say, of course, it will be comprehensive. And I can click send, and that will send through Canvas. So she will receive that message in Canvas and be able to see it. If on their end, they have it set up for their email as well, which it's defaulted that way, they will receive an email. So essentially, you can have a whole conversation using Canvas without actually being in Canvas. What this can be really helpful too. I don't know if anyone would want to get text messages for these these messages, but you can set up your phone number and receive text messages from these messages. And basically, you can have a conversation with a student using your phone's text messaging system without your student knowing your phone number, without your student even knowing that you're using your phone. So I find this a very special feature, and it limits the inboxes that you really have to keep track of, and it's very helpful in that way. If you are wanting to write a new message, though, this isn't an email in which anybody can message you. You actually are limited to, if I start a new message here, to the courses that you are enrolled in. So if I go to Cody's course, for example, I can message teachers, which is me. There's another, under more courses, let's go to this other course here, give you some more examples. And now I have access to students, observers, specific course sections. So if you're wanting to message only your A section as opposed to your I section, you can do that. And then you can message individual student groups. So it'd be very helpful to come in and quickly send a message to Priscilla or anyone else in your course. Type a subject, type an email like normal, and send that to them. Okay, so that's it for Inbox. There's a lot of different other features, but it's mostly like email, so it has all the same kind of options. So are there any questions on Inbox? I don't see anything. Let's go ahead and move on to Commons. So Commons, you can think of Commons as kind of a social media of Canvas. So with it, people are able to share their ideas and their things that they've created in Canvas. So for example, here, there's an assignment that Brian Bike has created, and there's quizzes over here. So they can share it with all of the community, and everyone will have access to it and can import those into their courses and make adjustments to those if they want to. And it can be kind of helpful if you want to get some ideas about how to do different things. So maybe you aren't teaching AP Chemistry, but this idea that they're using within AP Chemistry is very helpful. And so the way they've structured their modules, you kind of want to emulate. You can come in, import their modules, and then make adjustments to be customized for your course. So if you want to get some ideas, you can be searching through the Commons to get those. You can also share Commons items with just the institution. So if there's a New Testament course that you're teaching and you want to share the quiz that you've made, or maybe a question bank with everyone, and they can import that in the course if they want to, if they're also teaching the same thing, you can do that. So I find it a little fun, can be kind of helpful. And I'll go through a little bit how to do your searches. There's a filter, which is very helpful. So if you're coming in and you want to search for New Testament, I'm not sure if anything will pop up. Actually, some things did. So you've got a couple different items here. You've got full courses, modules, and that looks to be about it. Well, I can come in and I can filter these even further. If I want to see only those New Testament items from Southwestern, I can check that box. There aren't any currently. Maybe there's grade levels. It's default for undergraduate and graduate for our institution. But if you want to see if somebody else has done New Testament stuff, and it looks like I've got a little bit more results there, you can. And then you can limit it to specific items. So maybe I want just modules, and I can see just the modules related to New Testament. So it can be very useful to come in and say just what you want. Up at the top in Commons, you can see that there's the search. There's also shared. So if you've shared anything with Commons, you can come here and see what you've shared. And then imported. If you've imported anything into your course, maybe you want to import it again, you can come to imported and see quickly what you've imported in the past. And updates will show you anything that's been updated that you've imported. So if you have some updates, you can go there. And then if you've favorited anything, you can quickly go to favorites and see those right there. One thing to note, we do have a Swibits template course. This is built out by Canvas. So they have given us one template course that we've uploaded to the Commons, where you can come in and import that into a course. It has some helpful information on how to design and build a course, and you might find that very useful when you first start a course in Canvas. It has some instructional design tips and some helpful documents as well. So you can come in and import that from the Commons. Okay, any questions on Commons so far? All right, let's go ahead and move on to help and resources. I'm skipping over Studio because we haven't implemented it yet. We're still deciding on how we are going to do that. So you can go ahead and just ignore Studio, but let's go ahead and talk about help and resources. If I click on this, a new pane will open up with all the help and resources items that we've added. This is a completely customizable page for admins, so we can come in and customize it for specific users, for the global community. So you can see that we've got the Swivets library and bookstore, and there's the technology page, web advisor, and so on. So I find it very helpful and a quick and easy access to get some help if you need it. So maybe you're in your course and you say, I need to submit a ticket because I don't think this is working properly, or I need to add a student, or I don't see my grades. You can come in and quickly request help and submit a ticket. You can go to the Canvas community, which I'll cover a little later. Down at the bottom here, we do have two pieces of information that are more seasonal. So this Canvas migration site right here is a site dedicated to this Canvas migration. It has helpful information. It will have the recordings for these sessions up there. And it will also have a lot of different information as we migrate to Canvas. And then, of course, in this season, there's also a COVID-19 resources page that we have. So if you're needing tips and resources on how to do teaching and learning, we have a lot of different help documents walking you through that in the resources. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this Canvas community button here. If we click on that, you'll be taken to the Canvas community. And this is a really great site. Has a lot of helpful information, not only in how to use Canvas, but also some course design tips. It won't teach you how to completely design your course, but it will show you some essentials. It's mostly in kind of graphic design work and accessibility for students. But one thing that I do want to highlight is the guides. So if you go up to the top here, you can click guides and go to Canvas LMS. And in the Canvas LMS, you can see there's different roles here. And if you go to instructor guide, you can see all the different guides that they've produced for Canvas instructors. So at the top, there's a little kind of table of contents. So if you're wanting to learn more about the Commons, you can click Commons, and you can see that there's a whole list of guides for Commons. So if I want to leave a review for a resource, I can come in and click this guide, and it will take me to kind of an overview, and then it will have some screenshots and walk you through steps on how to leave a review. So I find that very helpful. They have it for literally everything. There's another thing that you can do in the community. If you have an idea, you can post it to the community, and it will get upvoted and possibly move to production. So Canvas is very much user-centric, so they want their users to be a part of their community and give them ideas so that they can produce a product that people want to use. So there's a lot of new things coming up that are very helpful and are a lot of fun. So I would check out under ideas what's going on in Canvas. So feel free to participate in this community. There's a lot of not just Canvas people, but also people from other institutions, other instructors, and other course designers and admins that participate in this. Okay, so that's it for the Canvas community. Any questions on the help and resources page or button? All right, I don't see anything. Let's go ahead and move on to some universal account settings. So up at the top here, I'm going to click on account, and I have a lot of different options here. Let's go ahead and start with notifications. Notifications is where you can globally address all the notifications you might receive from Canvas. So, for example, I've got this test instructor email and then also my staff email right here. I can come in and customize what notifications I will receive and when I will receive them by adjusting from each account. So I can come in and easily click these options here. You have the option of receiving notifications immediately, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, or not at all. So if you've got your phone set up here, you can see those notifications for your phone as well. Moving on to profile. The profile page right here just gives you a little bit of biographical information of yourself. Other users can see your profile if they click on your account, so you may want to add some content here. There's 3 main areas. You've got contact, biography, and links. Contact just pulls from the Canvas services, so it may link out to other social media services. Right now, Twitter is the only one accessible, but it will have a little Twitter icon that people can click and go to your Twitter page. In biography, you can type in what you want people to read about you for. You can come in and click edit profile and edit that. Links are any special links that you want them to see. So I've got Swibbits Technology, which will link out to our technology page. And my blog. I don't actually have a blog, but this is just kind of a placeholder for a blog if you have that. So some ideas about what you could use links for. You can come in and edit those and give it a title and then the actual website information right there. And you can add as many as you want. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to files. Files is an area where you can see all of your course files and your account files. I'm going to go over some of the kind of the global settings here, and then we'll get into some particular course file stuff in a later session. When you're navigating files, you'll see very similar to any file browser software like on your computer or in Dropbox or something. You can have folders and you can upload items and you can click into those if you want to. There's a search bar to search for files. You can add a new folder right here, and then you can upload new content by clicking upload. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to settings. Settings is just a general overview of everything that your account is set to. So in the middle here, you've got some information on your name, language and time zone, and what will be displayed when, your web services. So if you use any web service tools, you can use that here. These are the registered services. So if you want to link your Twitter account, you can come here. If you use any integrations into Canvas, that will be displayed right here. And then you've got some feature options for your user down below. I won't go over in detail what all these do, but that's where you will find it. If you want to add different contact methods, you can come to the right-hand side here and add contact methods by clicking on add plus email address or contact method. And that about covers all account settings. Do I have any questions on account settings? Just a special note on this, we have disabled profile pictures for the time being, just to protect ourselves from anything that might be unforeseen and to fully flesh out how we might manage those. So they're disabled right now. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to some course information. I'm going to go to courses, and let's use this example course. This example course is completely blank. It's new. So this is what it would look like if you have a completely blank course. You have the option of creating modules. You can have basically you have a sidebar off to the right hand side, and then off to the left you have your course navigation. So this is how you will navigate through different course items. We'll be covering what each of these do in a later session. But just so that you know, if you see this crossed out I, that means that students don't have that visible to them. Most of the time, this means that there's no content in these. Otherwise, you've removed it from their view. Also, this is not as customizable as the navigation area for Blackboard. So in Blackboard, you can create any types of navigation that you want to. You can create different content areas and so on and have them grouped in different ways. You can't do that with Canvas. Canvas already has the pre-built items. So announcements is just announcements. Same with assignments and discussions. Discussions can't be anything else. There's a way to reorder all these and to show or not show that for students, but this isn't customizable. You can't add a different area if you want to. I want to just quickly cover the home page, and then we'll move on to course settings. If you want to change your home page, you can come off to the right hand side here and click choose home page. There's a lot of different options here. You can do activity stream, which will basically show students when they go into your course all the activity that's gone on in the course. You can do course modules, so we'll get into modules in a later session, but that will take them there. Assignments list, and then syllabus as well. And then you can create a page. So a page is kind of, you can think of it as a website of sorts. And you can create these from scratch and create a home page for your course. I can show you real quickly what a home page might look like in another course. If we go to Cody's course here, you can come in and add all these nice little images, and you can do some other navigational items down at the bottom as well. So if you set up a page, you can create something really nice for your homepage. Going back to the example course, let's move on to settings. Under settings, I recommend before you do anything in creating your course, you come to settings to make sure all your global settings are set correctly. I'm going to go ahead and overview that. Off to the right hand side, you've got the sidebar view, some global buttons that you can choose from, such as course copy or import. Just a note, course copy is not the same in Blackboard. You will, to have the kind of the same feature of course copying, it's actually import course content. So just a note there. Otherwise, we'll go over what each of these do in a later session. Up at the top tabs, we'll be covering course details, sections, and just feature option, navigation and feature options. You might see an apps icon pop up, but we won't be covering that. Under course details, here's where you can come in and choose an image. So if you can choose an image from your computer, we also have access to Unsplash, which is a stock photo resource. So if I want to come in and type in Bible, this is where I got my image for my other course. You got some really nice professionally done images for your course. You can do the same for church and get some images for churches. Let's say maybe baptism. You can do some baptism photos as well. So you can search literally anything and find some stock images that will look nice for your course. Down here, you'll see name. So this is the name of your course, and this is how you would change the name for display. And so you can come in and give it a different name for your students. Course code. You won't have access to course code on any automatically created courses for enrollment. This is a manually created course, so I can change that here. Blueprint courses, I'll skip over. Time zone, you can change. Sub-account, we'll skip over. You can see the term that it's associated with right here, just like you can on the card. The area I really want to focus on are the start and end dates. So each Canvas course is associated with a term. As you can see right here, this one's associated with summer 2020. And the term dates are set by the registrar's office, and basically that's the dates. So like for spring this semester, it's from January 21st through May 8th. And so the term dates are already set. You won't see them in these boxes right here. But basically what that means is participation in these courses will change based off of those dates. So for students, before a specific date, they won't be able to participate within the course outside of those dates unless you give them the option. And then for you, you won't be able to add any content until enrollment opens for that specific course. So there's a lot that really goes into those dates, but these fields right here allow you to kind of adjust that for students. So students won't be able to participate in your course outside those term dates. But if you want to have your students participate beforehand, or maybe have them submit late work, you can adjust those dates at the course level, and that will change them. So if you want to come in and say, okay, maybe the term started January 21st, but I want students to do a pre-test before that and open that up a week early, you can come in and choose a different date. And then you can come in and choose a different end date if you want them to do late work. So that can be very helpful for you to change that, and that will override the term dates. And then there's different options right here to restrict participation and view for students. Moving down the line, there's a couple different settings here. I'll highlight grading scheme. So a grading scheme, if you use letter grades, you will need to set that up. So if I click set grading scheme, you can see that this is Canvas's default. We have a Swivet's default, so I can go in and select a different scheme, click Swivet's grading scheme, and select that one, and now this corresponds with the Swivet's grading scheme. This is very helpful if you're wanting to use letter grades for your final grade as opposed to points or percentages. So you can come in and set that for students. Then there's a couple other settings here. I won't highlight any except for this show recent announcements on course homepage. So related to course homepage, if you're wanting your announcements to be shown at the top, you'll have to come in and check this box, and then you can select the number of announcements that they will see. Once you've set all those settings, you'll click Update Course Details, and those will take. Moving on, we'll see sections. For Canvas, a nice change is that you'll be able to see who's in which section. So if you have a flexible course, for example, and you have an A section and an I section, in Blackboard you weren't able to tell who was a part of which section. Well, in sections now you can see exactly which users are a part of which section. You can click in and see, oh, I have all of these users in this section, and so on and so forth. There's also a people tab that will bring that up as well. We'll cover that in a later session. But that will be where you can view your sections. Moving on to navigation, this is where you can customize the course navigation area. You can hide different things from students. So maybe I don't want students to see who is in the course. I can disable that. That will move down to the bottom here. And then I can reorder everything else. So maybe I want, let's say, the syllabus to be under home, and then assignments, and then announcements. I can come in and click save, and that will change for the course navigation. Okay, we'll go ahead and skip over apps and move on to feature options. Feature options are just something that Canvas is developing. So if there's a feature that Canvas is developing, you can come in and opt in to use that. If it's on already, then we have set it on the admin side to be on. So you don't need to worry about that. And then you can come in and use these toggle switches. So for example, this RCE auto save is the rich content editor. We'll cover that in a later session, but the rich content editor is used all over the place in a Canvas course to create your content. If you want to auto save that, you can come in and check auto save. This is a feature they're testing out, but you can opt in to use it right here just to help you out. So I won't go over what all of these do, but you can come in and check out the feature options. Okay, any questions on course settings? All right, I don't see anything. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you again for attending session 1. I hope to see you all in sessions 2 through 4 if you haven't already attended those. Just so that you know, a recording will be available of this session on our Canvas site that you can watch at your leisure. And then also for next week, same time, same place, there will be a session 2. So that will be Tuesdays at 2:30 and Wednesdays at 10. And next week we'll be covering session 2. And again, feel free to reach out if you need anything. We're here to help you through this transition. If you have any questions, feel free to email canvashelp@swibits.edu, and we'll get somebody to help you out there. And you can also call the office as well. I will stick around for any questions if you have any, but otherwise you are free to go.